Greetings students, this is Miss Osborne. On this screencast we're going to review some basics of MLA formatting. We'll be looking at these operations in Microsoft Word 2010, but if you have a different version of Word, the process will be much the same. The principles are the same, the rules are the same regardless of what word processing software you're using. So we'll look at setting your margins to 1 inch. We'll look at setting your line spacing so that your line spacing is double spaced. We'll look at selecting an appropriate font and font size. We'll look at how you put in a header in your document that will have your last name and the page number. And finally, we'll look at how on the first page in the upper left-hand corner you format an MLA style heading for your paper. So now we're looking at a new Word document inside Microsoft Word 2010. As I said, if you have a different version of Word or a different word processor, the principles are still the same and the operations will be very similar. So let's look first at margins. According to MLA style, your margin should be set to 1 inch on all sides, and that in newer versions of Word is typically the default. But you can always check it by clicking on, under page layouts, clicking on margins and just checking to make sure that's what is selected if it's not selected. So check on your margins. Your line spacing should be set uniformly to double spaced throughout. Now I clicked back on the Home tab here at the top, and now there's a paragraph area in the middle, and actually there's a very easy button right up front there. You see two little blue arrows pointing up and down. Here I'm going to select 2. Now everything I type will be double spaced. Everything I type will be, see, it's still adding some paragraph spacing though. And we need to look at that too, so that you're not getting way too much space in between paragraphs. Now there, did you catch what I did? I clicked this little gray arrow in the bottom right hand corner of this paragraph area on the toolbar. Let's go ahead and say don't add space between paragraphs of the same style. Our line spacing set at double because we just fixed that, so we're good there. And I clicked OK. So now we're set up so that everything will be uniformly double spaced. Now my font's still a problem. I need to have a serif style font. Times New Roman is the most traditional choice. I can select that. I've got my font style box here, and I can come here and choose Times New Roman. Not every word processing program on every single machine out there has Times New Roman, but it is very common. Another common choice that Word recommends or kind of suggestive sells to users these days is Cambria, although they suggest it as a heading font. For the MLA format papers you do for this class and most of your other classes, you'll use it as a body font. So Cambria or Times New Roman are absolutely fine. Let me show you the difference here. So that's now an appropriate font, or that's an appropriate font, Times New Roman. I'm also going to go up to a 12 point, which is what you should use for all the papers you prepare for this class. Now let's talk about how to put in your standard page number. According to MLA, remember, where do you put the page number? It goes in the upper right hand corner of each page, and you'll need your last name just to the left of the number. So for this I'm going to flip over to the Page Layout tab, and somewhere here, no, actually the Insert tab. See, even if you've done it before, there are so many options, sometimes you forget where to look. Okay, I'm going to, now that I'm on this Insert tab, way over here there's header, footer, page number. I'm going to go to page number. Gives me a little drop down, and I'm going to choose top of page. I'm going to slide my mouse cursor over. See, plain number 3 here on my screen is the one that shows me a page number that's in the upper right hand corner. It doesn't have any other window dressing on it, no underlines, no sparklies. I don't need any of that. So I'm going to choose plain number 3. Now my cursor is blinking in the header area of the page. Shows me number 1. Now what I'm going to do is press the space bar and then type my last name. Actually, I'll press the space bar again, so that now my name and the number, the page number, will appear in the upper right hand corner of each page. You of course would use your own last name, not mine. And then if I just double click outside of that selected header area, now that's all set. And as I increase the number of pages here in my paper, the appropriate page number will be at the upper right hand corner of each one, along with my last name, identifying it as my paper. Now the last thing we need to do is talk about the header that goes only on one page. This is different from the page number that we just put in the Word document heading area. We're talking here about the MLA Format header that goes on the upper left-hand corner only on the first page of your paper. You start with your own name. So your own name goes first. You know, Joe Smith, Joan Collins, whatever your name is. Then you have my name, so Miss Osborne goes next. Then you have the name of the class, in this case, English 132, and then you'd have the appropriate section number at the end. And then the last thing is the date. So 17 September 2013. Now if you spin your date around the other way, September 17, comma 2013, that's okay too. I prefer this as it looks neater. And that's it for our quick review of guidelines for MLA Format.